Hello, neighbors. Had to take a second to connect about a couple of things that are happening that we need to be aware of, that we haven't been communicated very well with about, and to express my great gratitude to the community for coming out to the meet and greets we've been hosting and coming out so strongly. So first off, reading an email from the Lookout today, discovered that the county, specifically Supervisors McPherson and Supervisor Manu, are discussing an initiative that may or may not be helpful to fire victims. Apparently, the thought is that they want to make it possible for fire victims who have been blocked from building, so denied the right to rebuild, to sell the rights to develop their properties to developers from outside of the area, outside of the disaster zone. I have mixed feelings because I don't have enough information. We've spoken multiple times about the importance of transparency and how this community in specific has not received the kind of communication that it needs from our government in order to make great choices and to understand what's happening. This is 100% exactly what we were talking about. So I heard about this yesterday, okay? And I bet a bunch of you are just now hearing about it from me. Right? This is something that's very important. We need to understand, one, why were people blocked from rebuilding in the first place, right? Not being able to rebuild is very different from being blocked from rebuilding, right? So we need to know what that means. What does it mean selling to private developers from outside of the zone, right? And then there's the idea, the potentially positive idea within this notification that the county could make it a requirement that they create a property or a unit for the previous property owner who suffered the fire loss to be able to live on that property. And the language says could, not will or must. So this is something that's very concerning. There's not enough information about it, and a decision is being made about whether to survey fire victims about it today. This is concerning as well. Why do you need to ask whether you're going to survey people who survived fires about potential policy that directly impacts us? Seems like that should be a given. So why would you hide that? Why would you not survey us and make us aware and find out from the community what it is that we want and need and how we feel about these things? This is the opposite of the kind of communication we need from government. And I love the idea that they're thinking about novel ways potentially to make sure that people who lost everything and lost their properties may have somewhere to come home to. That, I think, is fantastic. But is that even what's happening? I don't know, because the communication isn't there. Right? And that's, in my campaign, we talk about this constantly. Communication is key. You can't make great decisions if you don't have great information, right? You know, I want to have a data-driven approach to being the county supervisor. I want to make decisions based on what the community actually needs and has expressed to me and other entities in the government. And that's the direction that we have to go. Otherwise, we're going to end up in situations like this. And pardon me for not speaking perfectly, but I'm passionate about this, and it's incredibly frustrating to find out about something so important the minute before they're making decisions about it, you know. And I'm sure you're frustrated as well. And I'd love to hear in the comments what your thoughts are about this. And I'll make another video after they've made the decision and hopefully release more information so that we can grow in our understanding of this thing. So for meet and greets, I had a fantastic, amazing meet and greet. I mean, I've had a series of them for sure, but this one was poignant because it was in a neighborhood that had been devastated by the fires. And all of us, I mean, not all of us, some of us were neighbors who survived the fires and did just fine, but were here as part of the neighborhood and had supported their neighbors on their journey to going home. We'd all experienced, though, the just poor support, the poor reaction from the county that kind of re-victimized everyone again. You know, it's been said that the first disaster was the fire. The second disaster was the county's response to the fire. And so many folks have been emotionally devastated, financially devastated. And again, they're the canary in the coal mine. Okay. The no-build policies that we've had going for decades now have made it nearly impossible to rebuild. You know, just like in that Lookout blurb inside of an email that we received this morning, you know, talking about less than 1 in 10 rebuilding. It's far less than that, right? We have less than 100, less than 50 homes rebuilt out of 911. That's an astonishing travesty. And The obstacles to that were caused by the county government response are something that we can get in front of. We can't just be reactive. We have to be proactive because we know that wasn't the only fire that's going to happen. That wasn't the only natural disaster that we're all going to have to deal with. Right? So we have to approach this with seriousness, and we have to have a plan for the community. We have to execute that plan and be prepared. Right? And it's not just fire mitigation. It's not just preventing the fire. It's also handling the response after. How do we get red tape out of the way so that people can rebuild? How do we identify the pain points? What are the big things, the biggest issues stopping people from being able to rebuild? And how do we remove those? And I say remove them. There are folks who don't think that people who've lost their homes should be rebuilt. And in my opinion, those people are wrong. Right? Folks have put in blood, sweat, tears, and years into their properties and into their homes and being part of this community. Climate change is happening for everyone. There's nowhere that's going to escape it, right? This isn't a situation where we are disempowered. We're lucky in that with proper mitigation and proper policy, we can handle both prevention and the inevitable reaction. But it takes good leadership. It takes investment from the county government, and it takes awareness of the community of what the government is planning. So I want you to advocate for radical transparency for our government with me. And this is what I'm offering. This is what I think is important. Regular town halls, an open door policy, discussion in our neighborhoods about county policies before they're decided. None of this reading on a website that there's going to be a potential discussion about a policy. Well, dang it. Hello. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so none of this reading about what's going to happen after the decision has already been made. It's our county. This is our land. This is where we live and love, and we need to be involved in the process. We need representation. So let's get some. All right. Looking forward to seeing you all in town. Thank you.